Hi, I'm Ruth Winkler, and I'm very excited to be sharing my very first YouTube video with you. Um, this past week has been rather challenging. I've had a terrible cold, pretty much lost my voice for a few days, so that's made social media the preferred method of communication for me. My voice is getting better, and I want to assure you that I do not always sound this way. As I read the articles and the book this past week, I found the article How Blogging Changed My Thinking and Writing most interesting. The author, Pylon, pointed out that blogging is just something that you do and you don't have to research. You just sit down and you write. And for her, blogging helps her to type and write fast. She finds time to do it fairly easily in her lifestyle, and she enjoys it. She has written an article called How to Read a Theological Book, which I've noted that I will read when I start my next class on theology. I do not have a blog the same as that. I don't write articles, but I do have a blog about one of my hobbies. I post photos of cakes and foods that I have made um, since about 1974. I have several followers, and the site meter tells me that I have about 40 visitors to my blog every week of folks who like to take a look at the cakes and breads and other things that I have posted there of my work. But thinking again of blogging as part of the spiritual ministry, I have a pastor friend who writes minister's messages in her newsletter every month. And one of the things that I do for her is to add her minister's messages to her blog. And this week, one of my challenges has been getting into the blog. The password is not working, and so I've got to take some time to fix that problem and then get the blog updated, um, like I promised to do every month, along with updating their website. Um, When I think about blogging, it's not been something that I have wanted to do, that is, writing and creating articles and so forth. Um, Occasionally I find myself reading a blog if it's titled interestingly, but I don't really follow anyone specifically. So I'm going to think more about the possibilities around blogging. Um, the article has convinced me um, the author, I should say, has convinced me that I can learn more about writing by doing more. And so blogs can also be a way of challenging myself and my friends and others who read it and growing in faith. Another part of my personal ministry is a website business that my husband and I began about 4 years ago. We have 3 clients, and each month I update their websites through their newsletters. All the newsletters are received, and I have updated their calendars, and little by little I'm getting their pages updated of their coming events and activities. But just the way that the end of the month came and the new one came in, I've not been able to have enough time in 1 or 2 sittings to get everybody updated. So that's been a challenge, and it's already April 7. So by tomorrow evening, I really want to have them all updated. As I read the paper, Social Network Sites, Definition, History, and Scholarship, um, there's just a wealth of new information there. I had no idea that social networking began in 1987 with 6degrees.com. At that time, we had a computer and we were receiving email. But I just had no idea about the social networking that had begun even then. I wonder if 6 Degrees had gone on for another year or two, if they would have made it past their downtime and gone on to be successful. I guess we won't know. The paper speaks of so many social networking sites that I'd never heard of before. The timeline on page 6 has so many names that were just all new to me. Um, so I realize that I'm really not very current and up to date on social networking in many ways. Our book, Click to Save, was very informative about the better known social network sites like Twitter and Facebook, LinkedIn, blogs, YouTube. I use Facebook faithfully for both personal use and my church. Um, I've been a member of LinkedIn, but now after this chapter, I understand more about what it can do, and so I'll be able to use it more effectively now. This book is going to be a good resource if I choose to do more with videos in the future. Um, and it may be something that I will pursue further when I don't have so many time crunches. But the advice on page 107 to just simply start simple um, is very fitting. This video is pretty simple, and the ones that I'll be trying and testing and experimenting with will be simple as well. Um, Returning to the paper's social network sites, I was interested in the section about privacy, found on page 13. Um, the investigation of potential threats to social network users was done in 2006 and 7, and so those numbers would not be really current. Um, but I think it's important to note that young teens are not always aware of the public nature of the internet and are willing to share quite a lot and many times too much with friends on Facebook, Twitter. Um, I get concerned for our young teens that perhaps they're just not thinking enough about privacy, and maybe their parents kind of forget too. So that's a concern to me. But it seems that Facebook users in general are just very trusting of the privacy settings. Um, but I do agree that users need to need more flexibility in dealing with conflicts with friends who have different conceptions of privacy, ways to handle when we think that maybe somebody isn't posting appropriately. Um, some better ways to manage that would be much more helpful. So perhaps the Facebook updates will have more possibilities there. Well, there's so much information in our readings, um, and these are good resources for the future. Um, but I believe now it is time to say goodnight, and thank you for allowing me to share with you in this video. Good night.